Welcome to the Talent Outdoor Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm JD.
Captain Paul Tire.
And I'm Grant.
Well, where's Fred?
He's on the Colorado River.
He's fishing.
He sent me a text.
He's fishing in Colorado.
Yeah,
Seen one pretty trout he caught.
Went down to some. He said he went down rapids to second class rapids. I guess that's
Class twos.
Class twos.
Oh, second class. That's like the white trash rapids. Man, I'm going down to first class rapid. Well, you don't rate those. You can do the second class rapids.
JD?
I have not been down the Colorado. I have been down the Snake River.
I've never done that.
Any snakes on the Snake River?
Nary one. I did see some moose though on the Snake River, but no, I hadn't been on that one. I've been. We a couple of years ago went down to Costa Rica and went. I'll tell you the bus ride to the start of the boat ride. We did the big rafting. Some we did some class 4s and 5s. Turned the boat over once and not on purpose. And I love whitewater rafting. It's a lot of fun. But that was the van ride getting to the start of the boat ride was also extremely interesting. You got this short bus, this big van. Yeah, it was. Listen, it was a short bus. Let's just be honest. And when we you take paved roads up for the most of it, then all of a sudden you go off on a dirt road and you kind of start looking at the road and you go, I don't want to slide off of that side of the road because it's a long way to the bottom, when you get up in the mountains. And they literally had a Toyota Land Cruiser with a big rope tied to the front of the short bus, and then they had a Toyota Land Cruiser with a big rope tied off the back bumper of the short bus. So you're going through these mountain roads that are not meant for I don't know what they were meant for, but not short buses or long buses or maybe even motorized vehicles. I don't know. And then you all of a sudden come out to this beautiful river and go down the river. It was a lot of fun. I
can see the first guys, entrepreneurs down there in Costa Rica. Hey, and I'm not going to do a Spanish accent. I don't want to insult nobody. Hey, we got to make some money. Why don't we I got an idea. It's
probably the gringos.
Why don't let's put
exactly like that.
Let's put some people in some boats and run them down up there on the river. And man, ain't nobody's crazy enough to do that. No. We'll bring some people in. They'll do it. And so how are we gonna get them up there? It ain't a road. Well, we'll build one. We'll build a road. What's that old donkey trail going up there?
Yeah.
And how are we gonna get them up there? Ain't your cousin got a 4-wheel drive? Yeah, so does my cousin. We'll
get a short bus.
Go get that old bus. Get that old church bus down there they got from the mission and get some rope.
So no lie, we were going up this road there in Costa Rica, and all of a sudden the lead car stops and gets out, and I'm like, I guess we're taking a bathroom break or something. I didn't know. Well, it was an hour worth of driving on this pig trail through the jungle, and you're going through the jungle. Well, he stops and gets out, and he starts looking up in the trees, and I'm going, what's going on here? And it was some sloth. There was a couple of sloths in the trees just right off the edge. I mean, almost you could just about touch them. They were that close, and they don't care. I mean, they're just being sloths, It was cool.
Y'all sightseeing. Y'all wasn't having to wait on it.
We were sightseeing at that point, but when the guides get all excited, you're going somewhere and the guide gets excited about something. It's kind of like going fishing with you, Paul. If you start looking at that bottom machine and you start getting excited about things,
we're fixing to catch it.
So, and you seeing just birds you've never seen, eagles, just monkeys and all just kind of stuff. I
remember one time I went on I guess it was a van, but a 4-wheel drive van in Kauai, in Hawaii. And we got on there, a group of us, and I was all excited. I said, man, this thing go 4-wheel drive. And I was challenging him to take us off the beaten path. And we got to the next stop, and the people that were on there that we didn't know, they said, oh, can we get off here? That guy was going crazy on that thing now. It was cool.
Well, I went to Hawaii one time, and we were on the island of Maui and for a wedding that we were in. And my wife and I, we rented a Jeep, a four-door Wrangler. And at the Jeep rental place, the first thing the lady said is, now you can take this anywhere on the island you want to go except for the road to Hana. And we're like, I looked at my wife, and we walked out of there. Okay, yes, ma'am, thank you. And got the keys, walked out the door. I said, I don't know where the road to Hunter is, but we fixing to find it. And that's exactly where we going. She goes, and it was, so Hunter's this little town, this little village is kind of off in I think the north end of the island or something, away from all the touristy areas. And they got a bunch of cows up there on the side of the mountains and stuff. And when you get past Hunter, it goes from paved road to dirt road, and it goes all the way around the tip of the island and through past some volcanoes and waterfalls and all this stuff, all the way back down to Lahaina. And that's the first thing we did in that Jeep was get in that thing. We're going to go find this dirt road. They was warning. She's like, it's a bad road, and it gets washed out. And I was like, all right, we won't do none of that. And I'm like, I'm in a Jeep Wrangler.
You just talking about, well, I thought you said Lahaina. You said Lahana. I said, well,
I don't speak all that.
Well, honey, I don't speak.
Yeah, the way this drought we've been under is, I tell you what, you can about drive over the Apalachicola River.
That's what somebody was telling me yesterday.
It's been dry. It's been dry. We went to St. Lucia for my honeymoon, coming up on my 25th wedding anniversary here in a couple of weeks, and my wife's too. And so we went to St. Lucia. One of the family had some timeshare or something. We went down there anyway, and we're going to go on a tour. One of those, you get into one of those pickup trucks, like a Toyota. It's like a Lincoln. Hilux. It was a big open back and all. So we're up in the back and we're watching all this stuff. Stop and drink out some spring. I didn't, but the guy did. But I figured his intestinal fortitude was wholly different than mine was. I'm like, no, I'm gonna drink this bottle of water. And we got up there and they took us out. We're gonna go up here and look at the view. And I'm like, I'm seeing the view. And so they take us up this little 2-rut road up on a mountain. He goes, we got to go up this trail. And I said, well, it's like a road. That's fine. We got up there, and apparently it had been wet, which it gets that way in the jungle.
Yeah.
And they pull out there, and they go, okay, well, he's trying to back up where we can get a picture. And I'm like, dude, I see the view, and it's another,
I'm good, dog.
It's a mountain, man. I'm good, man. It was just when we going back, and he pulled out there, and all of a sudden, and gets this thing stuck in 2-wheel drive. All right. Well, then I said, good thing you got 4-wheel drive. And he kind of looked at me, and I went, you do have 4-wheel drive? And he goes, it doesn't work. I'm like, in some, accent. I'm like, I ain't walking back, dude. And I got pictures of us up there in the vehicle with the view behind us, which was, okay, that was cool. After a while, they couldn't get it out, and they couldn't call nobody, and they didn't have no cell phone signals. And so that's when they learned what it's like to have a redneck with you. And I'm like, well, you got to give it some gas. He goes, what do you? I'm trying. I said, no, you got to shower down on it, dude. You got to get on it. And
get on that thing.
Yeah, rock it. Y'all rock it back and forth while he's doing it. Go get some sticks and stick under the tires. And they're over there coming back with twigs. And I said, no, man, you got a machete. Go over there and get some big old logs. And we got them under there. And I said, and it's still spinning on the tires. I said, no, you got to get on it. And so he just goosed the crap out of it one time, and that thing come right on out. And I said, see, you got to give it some RPM, man. You got to really get down on it. You got to shower down on it. And he's looking at me, and he goes, and the whole way back, I was like, we're their new best friends. And because they had done figured out that
he let you drive.
The next thing was I was going to get them. They had some rope, and I was going to tie the sticks to the tires, and then it'll pull itself up on. I've done that with chains and logs to the fence post before. Now you got to be careful doing that.
Tear your fenders off.
You'll tear your fenders off, but you will also, on a tractor, you'll spin that pole around chain to that chain. You tie it to your tire, and it'll cause it to roll up on it. That thing will spin around and kill you. Yeah. So there's a balancing act. I was doing that at like 15 and 16, so I didn't have no sense. I wouldn't do it today. I just call somebody with a bulldozer and a cable.
That's why my hunting truck's got a winch.
Yeah.
That's why my side-by-side's got a winch, so I ain't got to fool with all that.
Well, when you're 30 acres away from the nearest tree.
Yeah, well, you bury your spare tire. You got a shovel, man.
Yeah. Well,
bury that spare tire and hook the winch to it.
Country boy can survive, and he can also get out of a mud hole.
I've been stuck in enough of them, that's for sure. Yeah, somebody was telling me the river. I think Heath Annan was telling me yesterday. He said, yeah, I had a buddy went over there and put in at Chattahoochee, and he couldn't even get to the trestle. I'm like, dadgum, I ain't never seen it that low.
Yep.
Well, if you took me whitewater rafting, it would take some brown water to get me to do it, and I'd probably end up with some brown britches before it's over with. We'll be right back. And we're back.
You want to address the Glock panic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Glock debacle, the Glock, the rumors, and the Glock whatever. All things Glock.
Yeah. So Glock put out a release earlier in the week, or maybe a rumor got out, or maybe some information got out that it wasn't supposed to get out. And anyway, Glock had to do a release. But so Glock is going to discontinue, just like they have. We haven't been able to buy Gen 1s, Gen 2s, or Gen 4s for a while now.
Right.
Newly produced, because they quit making them. So Glock announced that they're going to quit making the Gen 5. Well, guess why? Because there's another one coming out. They're not going. They're not Glock, and we've been getting phone calls all week. Glock's they're canceling production. They're going out of business. I heard various different questions this week about, is Glock going out of business? So they're discontinuing guns and this, that, and the other. They have, in fact, discontinued a bunch of models. That was several months back, and it was just basically stuff that didn't sell.
Yeah,
There was no commercial viability to it. It accounted for, some of these models that they quit making. Ford
doesn't make a Pinto anymore.
Right. It accounted for less than 3% of their sales. But there have been a couple of lawsuits from a couple of states around the country because of folks printing parts that you can put into a Glock to turn it into a full auto pistol.
Called a switch.
Yeah. And that's why I get the question, what's a switch? Keep hearing this Glock switch. It's a collection of parts that you can. We actually have some legally registered machine gun switches. You and I own like 5.
I remember when we got them. Got paperwork and everything.
They got serial numbers on them. They got paperwork. We can't sell them to anybody, so don't ask. You can only go to another SOT dealer, and that's only with a law letter, and just they're not transferable essentially. But we have them, and they're fun to play with sometime. But you burn up a whole bunch. You spend a whole bunch of money in a real quick hurry because it'll spit out 33 rounds in a few seconds.
Well, you and I have gone to the factory and shot a real Glock 18.
Yep.
And then the switch is just sort of like, okay, same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun for somebody who hadn't done it before, but there's no real practical application for it.
So you got criminals that are doing this conversion and making them, and Glock has kind of been forced into making significant changes to their firearm design because of criminals making illegal devices that make them full auto due to some lawsuits. They're trying to get the bull by the horns and get ahead of it and fix the gun to where you can't, and redesign the gun where you can't.
Well, they can't go back and fix all the guns that are out there
already.
The majority of the firearms, handguns in the United States are probably Glocks.
Yep.
And they can't go back and undo. They can't,
unswitch them.
Yeah, right. They can't do that.
But they can't put the bad guys in jail.
Yeah, they can. And the thing
them.
is, okay, well, if that's going to be an issue and we're going to have to spend millions of dollars defending ourselves in lawsuits, we'll just fix the problem, and then they won't be able to do it anymore. And that's what they've done, is we're going to fix the problem. So that V that's coming out, which is
the V
an
model.
Evolution.
The V model, think of it like this, is a Gen 5.5. It is a stopgap measure that they're doing. They are going to not initially in the V model. They're not going to make the red dot ready. The V, what's called in Glock language is called an MOS cut. They're not going to be doing MOS cut slides right now to start with.
Which is the biggest concern that I've seen is that people because optics are a really big thing now, is most people want a gun that's capable of accepting an optic.
Right.
And since they said, well, we're going to build the base model first, so now all the MOS capable guns are gone off the market,
except for
the
two most popular MOS cut guns, which is the Glock 43X, which is a small carry gun, and the 48, which is what you and I carry.
Right.
So those two guns are going to continue because you can't. Nobody's making a switch for those guns that we know of. If they are, they're doing it illegally anyway. Blah blah blah. So they're not discontinuing the MOS 43X, MOS 48 MOS. They're going to temporarily not make the bigger guns, which is what law enforcement tends to use, but they are still going to make the 47 COAs. So that's the
which is
the
mostly
for law enforcement gun, which has a
and
special
it's
sight
not
on it.
specifically for because they're making it for law enforcement. It's just it's
not
not a law
restricted.
enforcement pistol. It's that law enforcement's buying them so fast, and they cannot fill those orders fast enough in order to get us any to sell to civilians. It's coming. I mean, we'll be able to
eventually
get them
down the road at some
Right.
point in time when
And-
all the law enforcement
Right.
agencies get their
Now, the
guns.
5 is not like a reinvention of the pistol. It's slightly modified stuff in the pistol to keep you from being able to put in a switch, and it has some version of a trigger upgrade, they said, but it will not accept the Glock performance trigger that's out there in the case, which all the old pistols will, and it's a great trigger. It's a Glock factory trigger. It improves the trigger pull, but it won't. The new V won't take that, but they're doing some performance stuff to the trigger, so they say. Hadn't held one, so it should be fine and not need anything until the next
Generation
version of Glock
comes
out, which there's rumors all over the internet now. I'm sitting there watching videos on it that there may be a 6 in the works, and there will be. There's always going to
and then there's
have
going to be a 7.
and then there'll be an
And
8, and we may not live to see it, but probably will,
Have they announced the
But it's
price
still going
of
to
it?
look like a Glock.
The V models are going to be no price change from what we've been told. They're not going to affect the price at all. I suspect when the 6 comes out, and I'm guessing the 6 is. I have seen videos on the internet of a chassis system like other manufacturers use, where the lower half of the gun has a basically removable receiver, like the SIG 320. Has a removable receiver, so you can take the chassis out of one SIG 320 grip module and put it into a different one, a small one. You can take it out of a compact. You can basically turn a full-size gun into a compact or a subcompact just because of the little group of parts. I would not be surprised to see Glock's Gen 6 do the same thing, hopefully better than the 320. The 320 has had some issues. There's been a lot of lawsuits and stuff over what they call uncommanded firing of the SIG 320. There's been a bunch of recalls on them. There's been factory fixes on them and stuff. They're still trying to get all the stack tolerances issues worked out with that removable chassis. But if anybody can do it,
well, SIG also says it's not an issue. That's never happened. They can't admit it because then they'd have to pay all the
people that have
all the lawsuits
320s
and stuff. Yeah, and then they're going to have to go back and
so there's still a
do
bunch of legal
complete recall. It would break them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of legal cases still in the works. Some have been settled out of court. Some have been found to be not true. There's been a myriad of lawsuits and problems with that surrounding that gun since it was introduced. They can't deny that. I mean, it's just it is.
Well, you
It's
go
what
back
it
to
is.
if you go back to a Glock with a switch. If I'm, and I've said this a long time, if I got a choice of facing a bad guy with a fully automatic weapon versus a bad guy with a semi-automatic weapon, I want to go up against a guy with a full auto weapon because he's going to run out of ammo real dadgum fast
And probably not going to hit much.
ain't going to hit much.
At least
It'd
not
be
what
just
he's trying to hit.
No, so if you got a Glock with a switch and you bust out, and I got my Glock without one, you better hit me on the first because all I'm gonna have to do is go boom, boom, boom. You're done. I actually train, and I can aim. And that guy with the switch is going to be, because you know how fast it takes to run through a 17-round magazine, full auto, and a pistol. I can show you. I still have the videos of me and you on the phone.
Yeah.
It's on our Facebook page somewhere. So I mean, granted, people don't need to be running around with them because it's dangerous. Because if they got a problem with another thug on the street, they're shooting up their family and the house next to it and everything else. But they don't aim anyway. Yeah. They shoot like that anyhow. That's why you get all these innocent people shot. To me, those are terrorists. If you bust out on a street corner and you just start shooting a place up, you should be classified as a terrorist, not a street crime, not assault,
punished as such.
Absolutely, they send you to Guantanamo Bay and leave you there because that is terrorism by its very definition. All these active shooters, not active shooters, are terrorists. People who just go out and willfully and wantonly spray and pray and shoot up places, whether it be on a street corner or at a university. You are a terrorist. And honestly, I think we ought to treat them the same way they're treating all those people smuggling drugs in down there in the Pacific Ocean right now and just blow them out of the water.
They done blew up 8 of those boats now.
They killed like 30 or 40 people now doing that. I don't know how they know what's on them, but I reckon they got it figured out. They got technology.
I would be willing to bet you they have boots on the ground saying, "Hey,
leaving.
Bubba and Junior, Bubba and Junior are cranking up the outboard with a load of dope coming across the water now."
There's either some special forces groups down there, or there are some local intel people. Of course, it could be
CIA,
knowing the CIA. It's rival gangs.
I think we can absolutely say Central Intelligence is in Venezuela.
Of course.
Oh, absolutely. Oh,
they were just like they were in Colombia, and you had DEA people on. If you don't believe it, watch the series Narcos.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money we're spending right now of dark money in our coming out of our economy, and how much of our debt's going down there so we can pay off people so we can blow up their boats. Yeah. So it can look good to it. I mean, I hate to say it that way, but we're spending a fortune. But I go back to this. How much money is it worth to keep our citizens safe? Now,
they're talking about
the citizens that knowingly go out and buy drugs and do this stuff and endanger their lives, I'm less concerned about them than I am the kids that are experimenting with weed and getting something laced with fentanyl.
Or the cop on the street that's searching a car and inhales it and has to get
or has to get in a shootout with a drug dealer
or
that brought it
exactly.
here.
I mean, there's tons of people that get exposed to fentanyl that's not intentionally ingesting anything.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back in our day, you'd find crack or something. If you got it in your hand, you're holding it in your bare hand going, that looks like crack. Let's test it. Obviously, we tried to wear rubber gloves, and not always. You reach in somebody's pocket and you get that stuff. Fentanyl, man, that's a whole new ball game. That scares me.
Yeah. They when all the cops are having to carry around the whatever you call Narcan sprays and that kind of stuff. I've seen video of cop exposure.
If we'd have had Narcan back then, because you can take somebody that's high as a kite and you squirt it in their nose and they're no longer high.
They don't woke up.
We would have. I mean, I had me a pocket full of it. We'd have been going down to Frenchtown just going, "Hey man, how you?"
All we had was smelling salts.
Walk away.
We had smelling salts. We'll be right back.
And we're back.
We're going through the Wiregrass area. I'm going to be in the Wiregrass area.
Doing what?
Here, right shoulder.
You got to go to Troy.
I'm headed that away, y'all. Just
watch out.
You're probably there when they're hearing this.
Yeah, well, when they're hearing this, I'm in Troy. But as soon as we get off this radio show, I'm going to go hook up to the camper, and we're going to Parents Weekend. Daughter's first semester in college, going to a football game, might go to a soccer game Friday night. I know they got some kind of shindig on the quad tonight with some, music and food and all that good stuff. I'm excited. I really am. Ready to see my youngin', for one thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about going up there, and never been to a football game at Troy, so I'm going to do that.
My dad, actually, I think, if I remember correctly, he had an opportunity to go up and play football for Troy when he was in the 60, whatever he graduated, 62, 63, 64, something like that, and went up there and went through, and he's like, it ain't for me. He was too busy playing in his rock and roll band. But anyway, so talk about kids. And so it's my daughter Jessie's senior year in high school right now. And she was a freshman, she came over from Tallahassee to Marianna, brought her over there.
Little change.
7th grade. Yeah, and she doesn't know anybody. She won the spelling bee and won the dispelling bee and the county spelling bee and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, just kind of got a little bit of a confidence boost, a little bit of a nerdy girl. And she plays Dungeons and Dragons and all. If you see her profile they put on the high school senior profile thing, it described the nerd.
Okay.
But smart.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that make all the money.
Yeah.
So she's going to be fine.
Let's hope so.
She's a beautiful girl. She goes out. She got into March. She was in the flag corps, twirling the flags freshman year, and then she got into playing an instrument. And I always forget whichever one Squidward plays in SpongeBob. The saxophone. Is that what it is? No, it's the
clarinet.
Clarinet. That's it. Playing the clarinet. I know. I pay for one. I pay for it every month. And so she gets in, and her senior year, she's the marching band, the section leader. They do all these competitions. She's fallen in love with marching competitions and all. So the other day we were down in Panama City, and went down and watched her last marching band competition. They did. They got a new band director over there a couple of years ago, Zach Korn, and he's from Alabama. Came from Alabama's marching band. Comes down, and that band has made such progress this year from beginning of the year till now. I mean, it's just amazing. They got all these super high scores in this competition down there, and I'm watching them come off the field. They just finished. They're coming off the field. I thought she was about to puke. And I'm like, oh, my God.
She was
She was boo-hoo, bawling, tears down her cheeks, crying. She went down there, finished, came up there, sat in the stands with us, and she's crying on my shoulder. Broke my heart. But I'm hugging her, and I said, well, don't you just go to FSU try out for the band? And she's like, that's too much work. I need to go to Chipola first. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, you probably are. I said, you now know how I felt when I walked off the football field the last high school game I played, knowing I wasn't going to go anywhere else.
What's that song? What's the song? Give me 5 more minutes?
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you. But I saw that in her. Now, she's got this little boyfriend. He's a good kid, sharp kid. Got a funny hairdo, but he's a good kid, good family. They spend a lot of time together. Obviously care about each other, and wonders why I don't like him. Every time I look at that boy, you know the likelihood of someone in a high school, junior college relationship lasting long term. There's always heartbreak coming. Yep. Every time I look at him, and I like him, I do. But every time I look at him, I see my daughter in tears when this doesn't go right.
Hey, I married my high school sweetheart, so
you know what? He's a good kid. I hope that works out because I don't ever want to see her hurt like I've seen girls hurt. And I just absolutely, and I get around him, and I want to be nice to him, and I want to like him, but I just have such a hard time because I see my baby girl, my third daughter of mine, last daughter. I still got a boy coming along, but if he gets hurt, and that's part of growing up.
Get over
it. But that little girl.
Let me introduce you to Budweiser, son.
That
Come on,
little blonde-headed girl. I'm fine with that. I'm hoping I can get past it. One of these days, I do like him though. That's my girl. We'll be right back. And we're back.
We're back.
Just like that.
I went and sat in tree stand this morning.
You did?
Didn't see nothing. I did kill one last week.
Man, if I had on camera what you got on camera, I don't know that I wouldn't just stay up there.
Man, that deer I showed you a picture of. He's somewhere between 140 and. I don't know. Probably he may be over 150. He put 150 to 160. He is a monster. So my wife had to work a bunch last weekend because of homecoming and all this stuff going on in Tallahassee. So she ended up having a bunch of flex time that she had to burn. And a couple of days ago, she says, "This is talking about this morning." She said, "Hey, I'm off on Friday." And I said, "Yeah, I know you're off on Friday because you worked all weekend." She goes, We're leaving. I said, she got out to pack the camper and everything, but we got a lot done this week on it. Let's go get in the tree Friday morning. Did you see? And she woke me up right at daylight a couple mornings ago because that big joker was out there in the food plot. And so we went and sat this morning. Didn't see a darn thing.
It was cool this morning too.
It was nice, man. We're getting these 45, 46 degrees this morning up there. This is my time of year. I love it.
Me too.
I love it. I got a covey of quail hanging out under one of my feeders. I've seen them 2 or 3 times. I'm ready to go put a bird dog on them.
I'm waiting to see what happens when you shoot that massive deer that she found on camera and told you about, and you shoot it when she would have been in that stand. Y'all flip a coin, and you're in that stand.
Well, that's what happened last Sunday afternoon, last weekend. She said, "Let's go. We ain't got nothing going on. Let's go sit in the stand this afternoon. It's going to be nice and cool." And I said, "Okay." Well, we've been having this picture of these good deer coming into a not this same food plot where that big one's been coming, but a different one. And she said, "Let's go." And I said, "Okay, where you want to sit?" Expecting her to say the one where we're getting all the pictures every afternoon. And she goes, "Oh, I don't know. Where do you want to sit?" And I'm like, "I'm going to let you choose," because the last time last time I let her choose, a couple of years ago,
you shot the deer.
I went to the one where we had not taken a picture. We had 2 big bucks on camera that year, and we had 2 big bucks, and we're going to say, okay, we're shooting. Those are 2 shooters. Those are identified as we're going to take them if we get the opportunity. And we went, and I said, wherever you want to go, you go. She goes, all right, I'm going to my spot. I'm like, okay, go to your spot. She said, where are you going to go? I said, I'll go to the tripod stand, whatever. And this was at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It just got done raining, and we were up in the camper staying up there, and it quit right in the middle of the day. It rained in the middle of the day, and she goes, "You think these deer will move?" And I said, "Yeah, just as soon as this rain's over, they're liable to move." And so we took off, and I let her choose. I went to the other one. I'd been sitting in the stand about 11 minutes. And one of the two big ones came out, and I shot him. She didn't even talk to me the whole drive home, hour and a half ride home. And I'd go, "Baby, what's wrong?" "I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it."
That big one walks out, you let it pass. You let her shoot it. You let her shoot it.
No, you better shoot that one. Well, here's the thing:
You might not get but one a big old deer like that. You may
ain't nobody else gonna pass on him.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's the one somebody stopped their truck and get out and shoot it off the highway right there.
Yeah.
You are in Georgia, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a dirt road on one side of the property.
Somebody will poach that thing this year if you don't.
Yeah, that dirt road gets. I sit in a stand sometime where I can see a part of that dirt road, and right about dark every afternoon you'll get them creepers coming down the road at 5 miles an hour. Just easing along that dirt road, and I know exactly what they're doing. They're
They spotlighting.
Well, it ain't late enough for them to be spotlighting. They're riding that dirt road, hoping something steps out in the road where they can
poach something.
Yeah,
any time of the day.
Shoot in the middle of the road. But yeah, that's it's just part of the game. But a big deer like that's smart. He didn't get that old being stupid. He may not come out in the daytime at all, but he may not. If he does, it might just be the one day. You just never know. They're not. The old ones like that are not predictable. A 3-year-old deer, 3.5-year-old deer, 2.5-year-old deer, absolutely predictable. You get them older than 4.5, 5.5, 6.5 years old. When they get to that size and that age, they become very unpredictable, and they become very nocturnal. Yeah. So we're not hadn't taken a daytime, not one daytime picture of that deer, and he is just an absolute monster. Which, you got to play by the rules. You can't go out there at night and do it and do all that, because it don't mean anything if you do that. So, but yeah, I'm it's like this last weekend. I let her pick. I said, okay, she wouldn't pick, I wouldn't pick. I said, let's flip a coin. Whoever wins the coin toss got to pick first. And she said, okay. So flip the coin, and I said, all right. Well, I'm going to southeast where we've been seeing the deer, and it's early in the year for this to be going on, but they were running around there chasing does and just acting all. It's like they had the whole deer herd population up there had the zoomies. I mean, they were just. I saw 5 or 6 different bucks and a bunch of does, and she's seeing deer running, and I'm seeing deer running. Finally, one came out that was on the cull list and weighed over 200 pounds, big deer. But I think he was old and on his way down. He had a little bitty short brow tines and a big wide rack. And I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot him. Put some hamburger in the freezer. He wasn't a trophy by any stretch, but he needs a lot of deer meat, and I'm all for the deer meat. You been seeing any at your place, Charlie? I know you live in the middle of your hunting.
I have to ask my wife. They watch the cameras and all that stuff. And we're still a little ways off from hunting season, so it's coming. But I hadn't. Excuse me. You can edit that out, Grant. But I tell you what, we hadn't really put corn out yet, so that's going to be this weekend. We're going to do corn this weekend, and we've had more deer killed on the highway this year than I've seen in the last 2 or 3 years combined.
We've had more deer, period, just numbers of deer than I think we've ever had at this lease. That we're it's not unusual to see 3 or 4 deer at a time come out to feed. This year we're seeing 6 and 7 and 8 and 10 at a time coming to our little small food plots. We planted Labor Day weekend, and I was worried about having to replant because we've just been so dry. But we've gotten just enough rain, and I guess there's enough shade, but my food plots hadn't burnt slap up, so they ended up coming up looking pretty good.
I'm worried about turkey season because I've got 18 turkeys running around my yard that are mine. They're tame, and they've all gotten big enough now to where all the boys are out strutting around comparing feathers, and
that's what boys do.
It's going to be it's going to be and the neighbors are sending me pictures now. My turkey's out in the field in front of the house. And man, look at all these turkeys.
Somebody driving down the highway.
Don't be calling them up now. They stay over here with me. Don't shoot my turkeys. And you can't tell the difference looking at them from a distance. I mean, they're you wonder why you got some gray ones in there, and it is what it is.
I heard a funny story on the internet. The guy was talking about turkey hunting, and they took a white turkey, a
tame one,
tame turkey,
farm turkey,
and
domestic
to some poor Yankee, and they was going to take him turkey hunting. And this was down in South Florida, and the guy was saying, "Yeah, we got a solid white Osceola out here on the place, albino Osceola turkey, and all this stuff," and just talked it up, and it put an old tame turkey out there, and the guy said the turkey comes up there about 20 yards away from him. He shoots him and misses him. Yeah. Shoots and misses the turkey. I just can't wrap my head around that. But anyway, misses this tame turkey that's just walking around out there. And the guy that was playing the joke on him was hid in the bushes trying to videotape. He said, and the turkey runs straight to him like, "Help me, help me." And he goes, he said, "I just knew I was going to get you. This guy's going to shoot me." The turkey's coming over there to get rescued. Get me to get shot by a Yankee right there, ain't it?
Well, I got that one turkey that don't like me, and he's got all his feathers back, and he is one more beautiful bird right now, and he's got about a 1 inch long spurs on him. And
you want to handle him.
How
long is his beard is the question.
Not that. It's about 3 inches long. It ain't much, but he's so he. I might just let him follow me to the field.
Go tie him put a stop in the ground right off the highway out there. Somebody in Jackson County will take care of him for you. I'm convinced somebody will.
Well, everybody sees me posting Facebook pictures of a turkey I killed. It's probably Jacob.
You'll teach him.
I got him out where I go in the pen. I kick him in the chest, and I blow up at him, and I run at him, and he'll back up, raising all sorts of cane. But he'll stay away from me while I'm in there. I mean, he fights me when I try to put food in. I took a deer feeder, put it in the chicken pen, and set the timer just to sling feed, so I don't have to go in there all the time and do it. And so if I forget, the chickens ain't hungry. We'll be back. And we're back.
Yeah. Like you got a trip going on?
Yes, I've been fishing every day this week. First day I didn't go was today, Friday, when we're recording the show. But man, I tell you what, the bite has been on this week. The bass has been exceptionally good.
It's nice weather change.
It is. It's cooler weather. I'm actually wearing a sweatshirt down here today, and I tell you what, but the bite's been super good. The bass fishing, on average, catching 20, 25 a trip. In a half a day trip. Been biting good in the mornings and in the evenings, and I'm still catching fish on those lures I showed last week. I brought them back again. I kind of talked a little fast over that the other day. I'm going to bring them back up again.
Yeah.
Because they have been working. And you fished a rattle trap before.
And
JD,
a spot.
And a spot. These things are bite Lake Talquin.
Yep.
On Lake Seminole. Anywhere you got fish that are feeding on shad, and that's what they're doing right now. They're feeding on shad. They're feeding up for the winter. Those traps have been working good. A little square bill crankbaits kind of look like a shad. That's been working really good. And that thing will run about 4 to 5 foot deep. I like to throw it on about 30-pound braided line, because over hydrilla, when it hangs in the grass, you can just pop it out. And it really it draws that bite to it, makes them react to it. But those been working good. Spinner baits have been working good on a cloudy weather. When you get some wind, these have been, I think we caught on Wednesday like 25 on a spinner bait.
Well, that's fun.
Just like a little shad, and they have been biting that good. The crappie, I haven't been seeing them start to bunch up yet. I think that water needs to get a little bit cooler. Yesterday the water temperature was 68 in the morning, so it's definitely come down about 10 or 12 degrees.
Yeah,
for sure. And
these 40-something degree nights will help in that process too.
I was going to ask you. You farmer, you raised up farming, Charlie. Do you see? It feels to me like fall's happening a lot sooner this year. Have you noticed that with plants, or because it seems like with the fishing it is, but then the crappie are kind of hanging back. So it's been. I don't know.
I mean, it's. I look at our winter peanuts coming out, and if it's cool when you're getting peanuts out, I feel like it's if you don't really get a lot of cold snaps, but right. I expect the weather to change right about the weather. If it's a normal year to me, right about the first time I feel the first little cold snap, peanuts, I'm smelling peanuts in there too. And
They coming out of the ground all
but
over
there are
South
times,
Georgia.
but there are times when they are when it's just hot and peanuts coming out.
Yeah.
I just that's miserable for me. But it's this year it's been cool. Most people are just about done with their peanuts, except for that folks that they had a bunch of them. There was a whole row of them caught on fire someplace.
Oh,
not long
gosh.
ago.
What?
Yeah, they had there's like 20, 30 tractor trailers full of peanuts at one peanut mill somewhere here recently. The whole thing caught on fire.
Has already been picked.
Had been picked,
Oh, my
was in the
goodness, bless your
trailers.
heart.
You imagine how many acres of peanuts that represents? And they said it might take a day to put it out. Those farmers right there. Another one
bless
not
your
long
heart.
ago, there's a fellow right across the line up in Georgia that his neighbor was burning a fire and it got across the line and burnt a bunch of his hay that he had put back, feeding his cows for the winter. And he's a local fella. I mean, he was commenting on it on the news. I mean, it's fire. And right now, as dry as it is, you were talking about the drought earlier. As dry as it is, if you out there striking a match to even a trash pile in your yard,
You better be careful.
you need to be real careful.
No
I've had
wind.
cardboard out in the burn pile for weeks now, and it's supposed to. I think it's supposed to. Somebody said, my wife said,
Yeah, there's
that
some
it might
rain
on
in the
this weekend.
forecast. There's some rain in the forecast. I don't know how much rain, but we've been getting a little dabble here and there. But
It's looking like there's a chance on Monday, a
need
little
about-
bit Sunday evening, Monday.
I don't want to. I don't want a hurricane. I do not.
No.
I do not want a hurricane. But I would sure take a tropical storm.
I need it. My pond is about dry.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been hearing. A lot of these ponds for duck hunting this year, there's going to be a bunch of ducks on the
big lake,
on
yeah.
the big lake. 'Cause
Yeah,
everything else
ammonia.
is
I
dried
went
up.
down. We rode down. My wife and I rode down. We every now and then when we ain't got a youngin', we'll go up there and get us some ice cream from the Jeremiah's or from Dairy Queen and ride down to the boat landing. And the boat landing is at Lake Ammonia is low right now.
I go out there and feed my hogs corn every afternoon right there off the edge of the pond, off the dock.
Well,
Right
you're
there.
about
So
dried
the,
up.
the water's
Ice cream involved? You had any ice cream involved with that? I'm hanging out with my wife eating ice cream. So then that's at the boat landing looking at the water.
Yeah. I'm
Not so much.
No.
You ain't right. So you said you and Dale were going
As soon as we get done here, we're going down. I'm going to Dale's and we're going down to the coast and see if we can catch some of them trout.
it's that time of year for trout and redfish to start moving up in the creeks like they do every year in the fall. I tell you, man, this time of year is either going to be feast or famine. In my experience on the flats,
That's right.
If you can find them, hang on.
That's right. I mean, I tell you what. Last time I went with him, I caught a giant on a topwater bait and had a prop on it. Man, that strike must have been as big as the front of the boat. About a big old trout.
This time of year, I've gone down there and gotten on redfish and just catch one as fast as you get one in the boat and release him and throw it back out there and catch another one, catch 25 or 30 in a 20-minute period of time. It just seemed like, probably a lot longer than that when you're catching fish, but catch 25 or 30 redfish as fast as you can get a bait out there in the water.
That's when
they get schooled up and get in the creek.
Fishing tackle.
Sure.
Rod and reels.
Yeah. Last time I did that, I caught most of what I caught. I started trying everything in the tackle box just to see if there was something they wouldn't hit.
Yeah.
But we were catching them on Redfish Magic, which is nothing but a giant beetle spin.
Yeah.
It's a big beetle spin. That's all that is. It's a big gold-bladed, beetle
got
spin.
like a Colorado blade on it.
Yep, got a big Colorado blade on it. Catching them on that. I was catching them on the I can't remember the Paul Brown. The Paul Brown lures. I was catching them on those. I was catching them on rattle traps. Just anything you throw in the water, when they're schooled up and feeding like that, because everything's getting ready, getting prepared for the colder weather. And
that's the same thing that's
so
happening
they're eating
on the lakes right
eating
now.
as fast as they can. I got a report from Lake Wimico. It said the shad run, there's thousands of little small shad all over the place. Said the lake was crystal clear and a lot of pepper grass and
I heard there's
and
a lot of hydrilla in there.
hydrilla and pepper grass in there, and they said they just look down in the water and the water's sparkling with bait right now, with small bait. So it's if you're not going to hunt, and there's a lot of places in Florida right now you can't hunt if you don't hunt in Georgia. A lot of places in Florida that hunting season's not in yet. It's a great time to be on the water, and you
right.
might hit one of those
And
epic days.
It's feels good out there. You know,
Yeah. It's beautiful.
It's
Absolutely
very
gorgeous.
comfortable.
Gorgeous weather to come to the gun range and shoot
That's
around
right.
the sporting clays.
Yeah, I was watching you cite your show. I know, JD. JD, Charlie, you're going to like this. JD said, get down there and shoot it one time. I'm like, I ain't seeing through it. JD goes, you got to put your cheek against the
stock and look through
30
the
years since I shot a rifle. It's been a rifle. And I hit it. You said it would have killed a deer.
Shot an absolute bullseye with it. Yeah.
Well, he was in that stand. No, that was
Yeah, I had it in the. So I use a lead sled or a gun a vice, a sled when I'm sighting one in. I want to take as much of me out of the equation as I possibly can.
I'm glad you took all me out of that equation.
I'm just the nut behind the trigger at that point.
And I didn't feel I pulled the trigger. Or you said I pulled the trigger harder than I should have.
Yeah, you snapped the trigger a little bit, but that's okay. It happens. I mean, even you still hit the target.
Yeah,
that was the important thing.
It was right there at it. He said it would have killed a deer for sure.
Yeah,
We just got to dry fire a little bit.
Yeah, and that man pulled up. I was going to ask you. There was a guy there,
right?
And he was shooting, but he kept shooting without a bullet.
Yeah, it's dry fire.
Dry fire.
Yeah, you get
Practicing
all
his shot.
Yeah, you get everything dialed
Nowadays, well, I was told when I was younger, you don't do that to guys.
You don't want to dry fire a 22 long rifle. Rimfire guns are not a good idea to dry fire most rimfire guns, depending on how they're designed. Rimfires you don't want to, because the firing pins are very small and fragile. Pretty much everything else, centerfire guns, take the exception of really old revolvers that have a fixed firing pin built into the hammer. You don't want to dry fire those. You don't want to dry fire rimfire pistols or rifles because the firing pins are kind of fragile on most of them. But a centerfire rifle, you can dry fire
so
that
like
thing.
Glocks, you could
Dry fire. You can dry fire a
yeah.
Glock all day long. It's never going to hurt a thing.
Yeah,
Doesn't hurt a thing.
And if you're trying to work on your precision fire with a rifle, dry fire is a good thing because you really need to follow through. Just came up with an idea for the Wiregrass quarter-hour segments. You want to stare at the crosshairs. You want the rifle firm in the shoulder, firm handshake grip, just like you're shaking somebody's hand. You're not squeezing it real hard. Put your finger on the trigger and you pull straight to the rear. You stare at the crosshairs. You don't want any scope shadow in there. If you see the black circles around off to one side or the other, you don't want any scope shadow. You want to get your eye relief just right. Stare at the crosshair, put it on the target, press, click. All right, follow through. Continue to look at the crosshairs, and that will help you shoot more accurately. Now, where you are positioned, if you see your heartbeat in the crosshairs, you need to get a little bit better support. So there's some tips and tricks.
Yeah, that was cool. That one guy, he stood up and shot and hit that thing.
At 100 yards.
Yeah.
That's a skill.
Yeah.
It absolutely
well.
is. It's an unsupported shot is multiplier difficult level. So it's much more difficult.
And I reckon we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.